Hello there, and welcome back to the Yoke and Abundance podcast. I have to tell you, I just recorded an entire episode for you, solo, of course, and I went to play it back. This was like a 37-minute podcast episode, and there was no sound. I believe today is actually the first day of Mercury retrograde. I don't love to blame things on Mercury retrograde per se. But this one, I'm going to say, was the fault of Mercury retrograde. So here we are, and I am over the moon to be talking to you yet again. I just told a whole story. Maybe it will be like I was practicing, and maybe this will be the best time for me to tell the story. So somebody recently asked me how I started my coaching business. And I thought that it would be a really good thing to talk to you all about how I do that. I know that we've got entrepreneurs that listen. I know that we have folks that are interested in starting their own coaching business that listen. And even if you're not an entrepreneur, you might just be interested in the origin story and the process that I went through to start my one-on-one coaching as well as my group coaching program. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Then I'm going to share about my program in the company of women and how that started and where that is going, what's happening with that, and something I'm offering around that. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So first, let's start with how I got started with this coaching program. So y'all know, I think this is not my first business. My first business was Greensboro Downtown Yoga. And when I did that, I was tied to a building, to a location. I was responsible for many classes that were on the schedule. So other teachers teaching along with me. And that's great. Those are all really wonderful things. However, it really tied me to something, and I didn't feel like I had freedom. I felt like really trapped. And so I knew that in this next business, I needed to do something that I was not only passionate about, but also something that gave me freedom and flexibility. I give a lot of heart-based offerings. I really feel into the energy of what is happening around me personally, what my energy level is, as well as the energy of the overall collective conscious or unconscious, however you would like to phrase that. Before I offer something, I know that some people put offerings out year after year after year within their business, and that's great. However, I evolve, and the products that I create evolve. I am a creator. That's what I do. I like to feel my way into things. I like to energetically offer things from my heart. And I've created a business that allows me to do that. Maybe someday I will have a big offering that I do the same every single year from the same, at the same time of year, and let that thing evolve. And I have something similar that I'm going to be talking about, but it's still kind of different. And I just let the energy take me where it needs to go. Okay, so those are some preliminary things that you need to know about me and what I do. So after Greensboro Downtown Yoga, the thing that was super important to me was I wanted to be a coach. And my background is psychology. I have an undergraduate in psychology. I love it. When I knew I wanted to be a coach, I wanted to not actually get a coaching certification. I wanted to get a certification in applied positive psychology. Now, positive psychology is a bit of a misnomer, because what it is it is psychology that helps us flourish. It is not about toxic positivity or looking to the positive side of things despite what you might be feeling. It's working through whatever it is that is causing you angst or problems or keeping you from, like fulfillment and doing the work to flourish. So that's what positive psychology is all about. And I did this 7-month-long certification in applied positive psychology. And gosh, I love it. And I love it because it is research backed. And I know that the interventions, the ideas, the tools in my toolbox are backed in science. And you all know me. I love the woo. Like I just started off and said, I like to feel into the energy of things. I just think science hasn't caught up to that yet. However, I like to know that what I am asking my clients to do is absolutely 100% backed by science. And there are some things I'll ask people to do that aren't, but most of the time they are. It's backed by science. There's research behind it. I know that generally they really help move the needle from like this baseline feeling to flourishing. One thing I learned in my applied positive psychology certification, gosh, that's a mouthful, right? Is, psychology used to be not just originally, it was intended to not just bring people to neutral, but to move them north of neutral. However, when people were coming back from the war, the Second World War, there was so much trauma, collective trauma, that it really, the research dollars, the grant money or in psychology went towards how do we get people who are already in a hole back to neutral. So now we realize that there's a benefit to also researching and studying the things that help us flourish in the world. So these techniques that I use in my one-on-one coaching, in my group coaching, it is research-based. And what I did when I started out is I studied B School, and that is Marie Forleo's. She's one of those programs that it comes out every year about the same time in March, and it's her version of business school for entrepreneurs, for multi-passionate entrepreneurs, for anybody who wants to become an entrepreneur, if you have an idea in your heart. So I have been an affiliate for Marie in the past. I love B School. I think it is phenomenal. I think she puts out so much value. And when I did B School, she had a module called Start the Right Business. And she still has this module in there. I believe it's a bonus module. And it's phenomenal because she talks to you about how important it is for you to identify your target market and then interview your target market. And so I knew I wanted to be working with women. So I interviewed like 25 different women, and I interviewed them about if they were going to do group coaching or one-on-one coaching, what would they want it to include? What do they hope that it would help them achieve? Have they done these things in the past? How much did they pay for it? How much do they expect to pay for it in the future? And what would be just like the best possible outcome of an experience like that? So things like that. What are the circumstances or situations in your life that would lead you to want to work with a coach even? So all of that, I was thinking through all of that, and I started out, I put together what I thought would be an incredible curriculum and program for one-on-one, and I interviewed 25 different women. And at the end of those interviews, I let them know that I was so grateful for their help. And as a thank you for their help in this program, I was offering them a discount on working with me. And like 80%, 85% of the people who did those interviews with me took me up on the coaching, which was really wonderful. And I knew if I was going to do a business like this, that it couldn't just be one-on-one coaching, because one-on-one coaching, it's expensive by its very nature. It needs to be. It's like that one-on-one VIP experience where all of the attention is focused and based on the individual that's right there. And so it's really a higher dollar program. And I knew that I wanted to not only make my coaching available to a wider audience of people, I also wanted to give the people that I was coaching on a one-on-one experience, I wanted them to be able to create community with others where they could do this work together. And I really believe that when we collectively do this work, so much becomes possible. And it really has a major impact, not just on us, but on our communities and therefore the wider world. When we do work on us, it has a positive impact. I'm telling you, I know I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen in my life. I've seen it happen in the lives of my clients, and it is powerful. It's impactful, and it's these ripple effects that go out and out and out and out. And it's just incredible to watch. So I dreamed up what I called in the company of women. I wanted to do an intimate, I just like intimate things. So listen, I'm an Enneagram 4. I dive deep into things. I want to swim in the emotional world. If you've got darkness, if you've got hurt and pain and trauma and you want to transmute that, come talk to me, because I like to swim in that. I like to hold space for that. I like to be present for my clients in that. And I knew that I could create a crucible. I could create a container. I could create a space where we could come together in an intimate group and really hold that space for each other. So I dreamed it up. The first things that were on the curriculum was an assessment of where we are. And then we would take that assessment, and then we would look at our core values. We would identify our core values and look at how to come into alignment with those core values. Then we would dream big, and not just dream big from a place of the things that we think we should be dreaming about, not a bigger house per se, not a fancier vacation, not a bigger, fancier car, but dream about how do we want to feel, right? Danielle Laporte has a book called The Desire Map. And oh my gosh, that desire map, wow, it had a huge impact on me and my life. It really, she talks about setting goals with soul. So I am one of those people who I love goals. I love them. I love setting them. I love going after them. I love achieving them. I love creating, putting things out in the world. That's what lights me up. And I don't necessarily want to do the same thing over and over and over again. So I like to dabble in lots of different things within a certain parameter. And what I do when I talk clients through dreaming is we have a real deep conversation about, how do you want to feel? How is it that you want to feel? What are your core values? Now, let's create goals from that perspective. Another exercise I like to take clients through is the idea of, and here we're going to get dark for a second, so hang with me. It's the macabre in me, but if you were to pass away today and we were to write your obituary, I like to have clients actually write their obituary. If you were to pass away today, what would it say? What did you accomplish? What did you do? What did you create in the world? What are you most proud of? And then I want you to look at what is not on that list. What haven't you done? What haven't you accomplished that you would be so angry at yourself for not doing? What would you be so sad that you didn't do? What would you be hurt and sad that wasn't on that list? Those are a place that you can start to think about the goals that you want to set for yourself. Not again from a should place, but from that place of an inner knowing. Now, that's what we do in the company of women, and it is powerful. So what I did was, with my individual coaching clients, I just dripped to them that I thought that this group container would be a positive thing for them. I put it out on Facebook, I put it out on Instagram, I put it out and emailed my networks, things like that, and let them know that this is what I was doing. And I started with the number of women I could fit in my living room, and I could fit 6 women in my living room plus me. And I'm not going to say that we fit comfortably, but we fit. And it was a unique thing. So one of the things that I had them do for this particular program in the first iteration of In the Company of Women is I would get tea and snacks ready at my house, and I would open my front door and I would tell everyone, when you come in for each of our sessions, I want you to come in silence. This was a really important part of coming into the program. I wanted folks to come in and first be focused inward before they were focused on everyone else. I didn't want them to feel like they needed to make small talk with each other. I didn't want them to feel like they needed to attend to each other's needs. So I said, come on in, doors open. You don't need to say hi to me. You can wave or whatever if you want to. Go get your tea, go get your snacks, find a place in my living room, set up, get your journal out, get comfortable, feel your way into our time together. So I'd have them come like 5 to 10 minutes early to really settle in. And then we would start on time. I'm a stickler for starting on time. We would start on time, and I would begin with a meditation for the group. So this meditation, actually the one I created specifically for the In the Company of Women program, is still to this day, 5.5 years later, the meditation that I start every single session with. It's a way to connect my clients to themselves and then to the group and the women in the program as a whole. And it's such a special meditation. I love, love, love doing that for everyone. Then what happens is we would just dive in. And like I said, we would dive into those 3 things: the assessment of where we were, the core values, the things that were actually important to us, and looking at whether or not we were in alignment with them or not. I really believe that how we spend our time is how we spend our life. And if we have not taken the time to identify our core values and bring ourselves into alignment with them, then we are not spending our life the way we want to, because how we spend our time is how we spend our life. So we would look at that, and we would look at what the baby steps could be to bring us into that. Then we would look at our dreams. We would dream big together, and we would dream, like I said, about what it is that we wanted, from a place of what our desires were, how we wanted to feel, not the desire of the things that we think we should have. So that's what we would do. And I started out, at first it was, we'd meet once a month for 3 months. And then I realized that was not going to help my clients get the change and the impact and the flourishing that I knew they could have. So I turned it into a 6-week course where we would meet once a week for a 6-week period of time. So there's been lots of evolutions of this program of In the Company of Women, but there are a couple really constant things. So the constant is, first of all, in my individual coaching or my one-on-one coaching, the most important thing to me is that my clients understand that they are not broken, they are not damaged. There is nothing that needs to be fixed. They are whole and perfect as they are. However, if they are stuck, if they feel like they're standing in the way of their own breakthrough, if they feel like they are meant for more, if they just feel like they need to get the energy in their life moving in a different direction, they have the wisdom within. So all of the things that I do with clients one-on-one or in a group coaching scenario, it brings clients into a place of feeling centered and grounded so that they can dive into themselves and find the answers within. You're not going to find the answers from me. I'm not going to give you the answers. The answers are inside of you already. I am going to give you the tools to access them. I am going to give you the tools to transmute whatever is standing in your way with love to go after what's most important to you. That's what we do as a coach. So everything I do starts with that premise. I use tools like meditation, positive psychology, journaling, core values work, dreaming, planning, goal setting. figuring out what the steps are, the practical steps that get you there. That's what we do together. And in the company of women has become so much. So in the pandemic, I actually put the pause button on it for a little while because I didn't really know yet how to create such an intimate setting. So in the company of women online, however, I did start raw and I saw what was possible from an intimacy setting, from making it interesting. I didn't want the programming that I'm doing, I didn't want it to feel like work, just sitting in front of a Zoom screen on the line. I wanted it to feel intimate. I wanted it to feel interesting. I wanted to know that I could light people up, share the tools that were important in this way, in a really, really special way. So I put the pause button on, and then I offered it a couple times. I used to offer in the company of women once a quarter, actually, when I would do it in person. And then I started opening it up to once a year, twice a year through the pandemic, really figuring out what the best way to present the information. And it's been evolving, and it's still a small group of people. And I just keep feeling called to offer this program to a wider group of women, I know that this work makes a really big impact in the lives of the people that do it. And here's the thing, you don't need me to do it. You can do an assessment of where you are on your own. Then you can identify your core values. You can figure out what the baby steps are to take yourself into alignment with those core values. You can dream big and set the goals yourself. You don't need me. And that's okay. That's great. However, when you do it with a coach, when you do it with a group of women, like, there's so much power, there's so much momentum, there is so much support that is available to you. So it's possible, but I want people to know, I want you to understand that you actually don't need a coach. You don't need a group coaching program to do this. You can do it on your own if you want to. So that's really important for me to say out loud. However, if you're someone that really wants to do this work with other people, you want to see the ahas, you want to figure out what other people are doing, you want to be inspired, you want to hear their stories, you want to figure out how to do this in a different way, you'll go further faster with a coach or in a group coaching program, because everybody is so laser focused together on those things, and the support is just phenomenal. So I've been offering this in really small groups. And here's the thing is, in order to be able to offer it in really small groups, it's expensive. It is a pretty expensive program. So I, over the last couple months, have been really thinking deliberately and planning out how to offer this content, this programming in a way that still feels intimate, in a way that still feels safe, in a way that still feels connecting. However, offering it to a larger group of people at a little bit of a lower price than what it's been, because it's had to be kind of expensive. So trying to find a way to make it more accessible. So I am getting ready to launch in the company of women for the last time this year in 2022. Gosh, can you believe it? We're in 2022. So I've been doing a lot of planning, doing a lot of work, and in celebration of this kickoff of the last time I'm offering it this year in this bigger way, I am doing a 3-week, 3-session, not 3-week, 3-session masterclass series that is going to start on September 19th. The sessions will be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of that week. So in that first Monday session, I'm going to give you the roadmap. So if you want to do this work, I want to just be very clear on what the roadmap is. You could take that roadmap and you could do it on your own if you wanted to. I'm going to show you the roadmap that we're going to take. In the second session, we're going to talk core values. I am going to give you a quick down and dirty on how to identify your core values. It won't go as deep as we go in the program, but I want to show you how you can do that. Identify your core values. Then in the third session, this is one of my favorites. So I know that I personally can get stuck in these anxiety thought loops, these worry thought loops. And when I get stuck in those, I can catch myself even where I see my brain is just stuck and I need to get it off that track. And I have a really fast and easy, quick tip that I'm going to be sharing with you that is powerful and easy. You can do it in your morning pages. You can do it really anytime, but I'm going to show you how I just cut down that thought loop anxiety that I get through this one little tip. So that's what we're going to be doing. That's what the 3-session masterclass series is going to cover in celebration of getting ready to launch in the company of women for the last time this year. So I want to tell you about one more thing that we are adding to this last session of In the Company of Women. I just added it in the session, the last really intimate session I wrapped up, and it was a huge hit. And before I do, I want to say, I am a big, big, big proponent of therapy. Yeah, I think working with a therapist is so important. And I always tell my clients that the work you do with the coach, it's not therapy. I am not a therapist. I am not a counselor. However, we go deep. We dive into things that could be traumatic. They could be painful. It brings stuff up. And the work goes further, faster if you are also doing the work in tandem with a therapist. So this other thing that I've added, it's inner child work. You know, I've noticed how many limiting beliefs, how many old thought patterns started way back in my childhood that aren't serving me anymore. And when I start identifying what they are and then systematically putting things in place to change them, to notice them, and to change them when they pop up now has had a tremendous positive impact in my life and allowed me to get a lot of really cool things done, like writing a book by overcoming that. And now I'm moving on to writing my second book. In fact, I have a big deadline tomorrow. So when I'm done with this podcast, I'm going to be writing the rest of today. So this inner child work, it's not just the bad, sad, traumatic things that we can learn from. I want to be very clear about this. All of us have good things that happened in our childhood, even if they were teeny tiny. All of us had things that we hoped for, that we dreamed of, that we were excited about. And those were like breadcrumbs for us that can help us so much now in our lives. And this inner child work that we do, it is really powerful and impactful. And so in the Company of Women, it went from one of my earliest offerings. It has evolved so much, and I'm really excited to be launching it at the last week in September. The course will start in October. It will be a 6-week course, and it will go from the first week in October all the way through into November for 6 weeks. And in celebration of opening it up this last time in a really big way, in an accessible way for so many, I'm offering this free masterclass series, and it's going to be really fun. I'm going to bring on people who have been through the program before, and I'm going to interview them, and they'll be talking to you about what they got out of the program in the past. I'll be sharing, like I said, the journey and the tips and the tricks for getting out of those thought loops, as well as how to identify your core values at a really high level. So we're going to be having so much fun together. And In the Company of Women was one of the very first things that I offered in my coaching program, and it has evolved and it has become something that I've watched have really big ripple effects in the world. And I just can't wait to share it with you once again. And I'm looking forward to getting to work with you. So that's how it started. So any of you out there who have a dream of doing something, I hope this inspires you. I hope it like clicked some ideas of things you could be offering in the world as well. And you know what? If you've got questions about anything, if you want me to take anything deeper, just shoot me a DM. I'm pretty much super accessible right now. You can shoot me an email, you can shoot me a DM. I would love to talk through this stuff with you as you are creating things that you're passionate about in the world. And if you're somebody that is listening to this, that is really curious about the In the Company of Women program, head over to the show notes and sign up for that masterclass series that is happening the week of September 19th. So next week, I'm telling you, it is going to be fun and good and rich, and I cannot wait to bring you in. I hope you are having a great day, and I will look forward to talking to you soon.